Well, do you know, I've got a feeling that Keir Starmer, let's just say, might not want you to know this. Oops, let's begin. Now, of course, Keir Starmer has been smiling all over the place like the Cheshire Cat, hasn't he, with his landslide win, as he likes to call it. However, as we all know, not only as it was reported that he got just over a third of the vote, 35% I think it was, presumably, of course, because, let's face it, no one wanted Rishi at all, did they? So some of Rishi's crazy pledges in his manifesto, such as the National Service or whatever, but now that something else has come out, which, let's face it, Keir wasn't exactly what a shout from the rooftops, and I say that because this article says that Starmer's landslide saw Labour apparently get fewer votes than Corbyn's worst result ever. It's just mental, isn't it? Especially, of course, as Boris beat him in 2019, and he got a landslide himself because of it. But just how bad was it? Surely that couldn't have been too bad. That was probably only 1 or 2 votes less than Corbyn. I mean, surely, right? If especially they got a 412 seats in the Commons or whatever it was. No, unfortunately for Keir, it is not. According to this article, it says that Keir Starmer's Labour Party got, wait for this, 609,578 fewer votes than his former boss, Jeremy Corbyn, at the last election. And it says here that when Jeremy Corbyn was in charge, Labour apparently got 10,295,907 votes for the party, and Labour this time only got 9,686,329 votes. But yet, of course, got a stonking majority. And if that isn't bad enough, I've got a feeling things are going to get much worse. And I say that because if you listen to Keir Starmer's victory speech, as I'm no doubt sure that he'll want to call it, one of the things he did was praise Rishi for doing so well being Prime Minister because of the colour of his skin. Correct me if I'm wrong, but surely in this day and age, haven't we got these things called anti-discrimination laws, where you're not able to penalise anyone for the colour of their skin? And I mean, we're not in the 1970s anymore, are we? And not only that, but there's been loads of people with different coloured skin getting all sorts of positions, even President of the United States. I mean, doesn't this just go to show the whole woke agenda just right there? I mean, obviously no one should be penalised for their colour of their skin, and I'm not saying that. I'm trying to say that the colour of someone's skin shouldn't affect the chance of anyone getting a job, and therefore I can't understand why Keir is praising him because of it. It just makes me wonder what other sort of things are now going to be brought in or U-turned on. I mean, remember not so long ago, Keir said, I don't think we'll be rejoining the EU in our lifetime. But of course, remember, that was before his 412 seats that he's just won in Parliament. And whilst he may stick by his word, there are times when, if you look at old videos on YouTube, he has done or seemed to do quite a lot of U-turns. Especially, of course, when he seemed to say that 1% of women have a penis, which he no longer says now. And then, of course, when he was Brexit Secretary for the Labour Party, he was campaigning for a second referendum, if I remember rightly, which is kind of the opposite thing, isn't it, surely? And now he's not going to do that. Hopefully he's not going to do that. And quite worryingly, a while back, I'm pretty sure that he said the government made the wrong decision, that certain factors weren't taken into account when saying no to Shamima Begum, which is really, really worrying if he does think that way. And would more than likely open up the door, if that was reversed, to loads more people coming in who, let's face it, don't really like us that much, eh? So it's no wonder why some people are calling him PM Flip-Flop, although to be honest, it does make me wonder if that was just a nickname in his bedroom before now, eh? Either way, I'm sure he'll probably want to appease his Ramona or Rejoiner people in his party, because it even says here that the first general election held in the UK following Brexit may have rekindled Rejoiners' hopes to see Britain rejoining the EU. The Labour leaders and new Prime Minister Keir Starmer, or Sir Keir Starmer, sorry, have promised voters to leave the deal struck with the European largely intact and to make Brexit work. Although, to be honest, it does make me wonder if he's just saying that to alleviate our concerns, and now that he's got in, who knows what's going to happen, eh? Especially with the blank cheques that he's surely going to write himself with his 412 MPs. And earlier in the week, as it was saying here, the Labour leader made his strongest pledge yet on Brexit, saying the UK won't rejoin either the EU, the single market or the customs union within his lifetime. However, of course, as it says, many people don't trust Sir Keir's pledge, as he previously campaigned for a second referendum, hoping to reverse the result of Brexit. And ahead of the 2019 general election, the Labour Party, led by then Jeremy Corbyn, campaigned to promise to renegotiate the UK-EU withdrawal agreement and put their own Brexit deal to a fresh public vote. Along with, of course, if I remember rightly, the option of Remain, which, let's face it, if you left, you shouldn't really be putting it on the ballot paper, should they, eh? And of course, what is quite worrying low is the bulk of the pro-Brexit forces in Parliament will now consist mainly of the Tory and Reform MPs elected, just over 120 that want Brexit, which when you're in a place with 650 MPs who kind of want to reverse it, or more than likely want to reverse it, I'm guessing, that is a big battle that those 120 MPs who, let's face it, represent us Brexiteers are going to face, surely. Maybe, actually thinking about it, there should have been more Reform MPs because they apparently got 14% of the vote, which makes them the third party. The Liberal Democrats, as far as I'm aware, only got 12% of the vote, or just over that. And therefore, surely, in my opinion, the Reform Party should have got more than 5 MPs, especially when the Liberal Democrats got 70 odd, if I remember rightly. But that is all because of our first past the post system, something from which I'm guessing that the Labour and Conservatives don't really want to change, especially of course when proportional representation or PR system of voting will mean that the Reform Party should have got 93 MPs in the House of Commons, which is a massive difference and would make them a big voice in there, wouldn't it? But that's the way it should be, surely. If they were the third biggest party in the election, I mean, they got over 4 million votes. Labour got 9,600,000 odd, I think it was. But yet they got 412 MPs, which, let's face it, is over 100 times the amount of the 4 Reform MPs announced originally before the 5th one came along. But the good news is it looks like Nigel Farage actually was right about the momentum building, because it says here that Mr Farage's party came second in 98 constituencies, showing that a much bigger haul of seats was within grasp. So hopefully next time in the 2029 general election, or hopefully before then if Labour mess up, Nigel could get a lot more MPs in the House of Commons, and maybe himself, if the Conservatives are still pants, might be the second party.